Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to our show. This is Dr. Tamar Beckford and Dr. Tamar Beckford Show. Today, we are gonna level up all our ladies. Hey, alrighty, I'm very excited. If you cannot tell, about our guest today. This is all about leveling up our lady docs, right? So I have my wonderful friend, my sister from the East Coast, Dr. Sherita Gaskins-Tillett. And I'm going to bring her in our wonderful fashion. Now, before we do that, I know you're listening and you're like, level up? Man, oh my God, I'm so busy. I'm not going to get to listen to this show. How can I find it? You know what? I got you. I got you. Do not hesitate to just go to our yourcaringdocs.com and just click podcast. Look for Dr. Sharita's beautiful face. Click listen here, and you'll be able to hear this entire interview, right? Now, I know if you're a doctor out there and you're like, what? I'm doing crazy things too, and I want everybody to know. You know what? I want them to know too. So just send me an email at drbeckford at yourcaringdocs.com to book, and just, we'll send you the link and you can book to be on the show. Do keep in mind, we are booked out 3 months in advance. Why? Because there's so many awesome docs out there, right? You guys are doing your thing, and I'm here for it all to tell the world about you. Now, let me bring in our guest today. Our guest, my sister. Alrighty, so Dr. Sherita Gaskins-Tillett, she is a graduate of Georgetown University School of Medicine. So all my people, DC, stand up. Yes. And she is also a graduate of the George Washington University, where she did her residency in OBGYN. Right now, not only did she do all of that, yes, she is also the CEO and founder of Level Up Lady Docs. Now you understand why I'm all excited. Now, at Level Up Lady Docs, this is what my sister does, right? She helps women physicians up level their lives by identifying areas of opportunity for growth, setting goals, and developing strategic plans to achieve those goals. How does she do that? She has these wonderful events. She has virtual and in person live events, and she's going to tell you about one that's coming up. So you have this wonderful opportunity to take part in that. All our ladies, I'm talking about the one and only Level Up Doc, Dr. Sherita Gaskins-Tillett. Level up, level up.
Hello.
Woo! Okay. All righty. Fangirl moment here.
Okay.
Yes, I'm about to spill all the beans to all the people. You're looking like, really? Why is she excited? Let me tell y'all something. It's been 2 years since I've been trying to pull Dr. Gaskins-Tillett on, and she is here live and in person. I'm just very, very excited. That's why you see the smile in both of our faces here. Welcome, Dr. Sherita. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you
So
so much.
excited.
I'm so excited to be here. And you're right, the stars have finally all aligned for us
Aligned.
to be on the screen together.
Yes, the stars are completely aligned. I'm just having goosebumps at this moment. Alrighty. So, I know you, but then our wonderful audience, they're out there, they're listening, they're watching, they were like, well, tell me a little bit about her. And I'm like, all right, no problem. We got you. So just let them know a little bit about yourself, as in like, what made you decide to do medicine in the first place?
Well, I guess I started thinking about medicine probably in high school, definitely by college.
Mm-hmm.
Later in high school, I did biology and did dissections, and I absolutely loved it, which, to
Mm-hmm.
the disgust of my friends, especially my roommate. Um, but I love the dissections. I love learning about the different organ systems and the
Mm-hmm.
physiology of how the body worked. And so it just seemed to make sense. Initially, I actually thought I would be a psychologist
Mm,
because I also like the thinking about how the brain works and why we
right.
do the things we do. But medicine just seemed to,
Pulled you
to
more.
really pull me in. Yeah,
Yes,
and
yes.
actually, I tried to run from it. Believe it
Oh,
or
tell us
not,
about
because
that.
in
Tell us.
undergrad, my undergraduate degree is actually in psychology. But I said, well, let me do all the pre med courses too, just in case one day I decide to go to medical school. And I graduated, I got a job. I didn't apply to medical school right out of undergrad. because
Really?
again, I was running from it. But as my advisor says, once the medicine bug bites you, that's it.
That's it.
So eventually applied and went back to med school.
I love it. It's so interesting. Look at her running away, and she ran right back
Right.
to medicine. It's interesting how you said that psychology really pulled you, and you had this pulling, that you were pulling away from medicine into psychology, into really the mind and like how it works, and helping. What were some of the things that drew you into psychology in the first place? Let's dig in.
Well, again, just wanting to understand more about the way that we behave.
Mm,
And I learned I love so much learning about behavior and
yeah.
why we do the things we do. And I guess to take that a step further, how we can learn different habits and
Yeah.
develop different skills based on how we think. Just how important our brains really are to our lives, in fact.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Alrighty. So, you got bit by the bug, had to make that K turn. Was it a K turn, or was it a full U turn into medicine?
Oh, I guess I don't know, maybe a J.
A J turn.
I
With
was
that
born
jug
this way, and
handle.
then I'm like, oh, okay.
Alrighty, so now we're here in medicine, and then you chose to be an OBGYN, obstetric and gynecology. So what brought you into that level?
Well, actually, my first rotation in medical school was neurology.
Hmm.
And neurology, for those who may not be in medicine, inpatient neurology can be a pretty depressing. That's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to say. A pretty depressing rotation. And so I figured out pretty early on that I didn't really have a great affinity for sick people. Like I
Mm-hmm.
liked medicine, I liked learning about the body and the physiology and all of it, but the really sick people that there wasn't a lot of help for, that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't my jam. So
Mm.
with OB, I found that the patients were mostly well, that the
Mm-hmm.
outcomes were mostly good, and
Mm-hmm.
most of the time it was just a happy field, things that you could fix. So
Uh-huh.
if someone's pregnant, you can help them through that pregnancy, and they're forever in your debt. If someone's having a bleeding issue, you can help to fix their bleeding issue.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, there's a fix
Mm-hmm.
for it. So I like
Right.
things that can be fixed. So
I
that's
love it.
how I ended up in OB.
Oh, wow, wonderful. It's so interesting that, you're like, oh, I love psychology. I want to heard about the mind. And then you get thrown into the medical version of it,
Right, right. Well, I
neurology.
knew psychiatry was not for me because it was just it was too heavy. There was just
Hmm.
entirely too much for me to carry around with
Right.
me.
Right. No, and that's the important aspect about life in general, right? Because from afar, something looks great. But
Yes.
you have to be able to go closer and at least put your foot into it and decide, is this for me or not? Because you're making these heavy decisions. For those of you guys who are not in medicine, and you're not really familiar with the pathways of the learning portion of medicine, and how we choose our specialty, we really get a rotation in it, which is 4 weeks or 6 weeks, or the most, I think internal medicine is 12, surgery, and usually get maybe like around 8 weeks. And you get 8 weeks to rub shoulder and dive in. And then you're like, is this what I want for the rest of my life? Based on those
Right,
times,
based on a couple of weeks, right?
a couple of weeks, right? So when you're talking about like, okay, dove into neurology and realized, wow, because, and I think that's important because we start talking about like psychology, so the mind and everything. You think like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a neurologist, but it's important that you stepped in there and realized, no,
Right.
this was
In
not
fact,
for
I
me.
will not. Right.
That was not for me. All right, so now we're there, and you're in OB, and you're able to do the fixing. I do want to give a quick shout out. We have someone saying hello, hello in the chat. Hello, Dr. Vega, Dr. Charmaine Vega. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by and saying hello. Alrighty, so we're here, OB, fixing things, mom, helping deliver babies, helping to guide women through this portion of their lives. But then you decided to make a change. So tell us what happened that made you decide
Yeah.
that change.
Well, actually, it was more of a forced change at the
Mm-hmm.
time. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was in a practice that was going through a lot of transition and upheaval.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I was a full spectrum OBGYN.
Mm-hmm.
So I delivered babies, I saw patients in the office, I did GYN surgeries,
Mm-hmm.
all of it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a pretty huge time commitment.
Yes.
A lot of people don't necessarily understand that when you do full spectrum OBGYN, you're up all night with those
Yes.
babies. And
Because
then
babies, they just decide
it's
to come when they
so
feel like.
disrespectful, so disrespectful. They could
Very
not tell time.
disrespectful of your calendar.
Right. So at any rate, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing all of that. And in the meantime, in the year or so preceding that, I had gotten married and had a baby. So
Mm-hmm.
I was still maintaining that schedule, but
Wow.
my personal life had changed significantly. And
Absolutely.
so while the practice was going through its time of upheaval, it became obvious that it was no longer a place where I could stay. And
Mm-hmm.
so that kind of opened the door to
Mm-hmm.
transition.
Right.
Initially, I loved my practice.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that it was a practice where I'd stay forever. Honestly, I
Right.
thought I would go there, I'd retire from that practice. I loved my patients, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, the practice went through some transitions, and because I was forced to think about other things,
Mm-hmm.
it opened my eyes. Like, well, let's look around and
Right.
see what the possibilities may be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't just have to do this, and maybe I
Right.
don't have to do it in this way, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe there are some other opportunities available for me.
Absolutely. And this leads credence to the those of us in medicine or whatever career you're in. So we're using medicine because both of us are doctors, but you can use this analogy for yourself in another career. A lot of times you're going into training and you've been working so hard to get to that particular goal, and you are not looking and you don't realize that you have additional skill sets because you forget that you have additional skill
Right,
sets
right,
because you've used all of the training to work towards that one goal, which is, for us, it's medicine. So when you go through changes, you start to look around, or a lot of people forget that they can look around.
right, right. And that's one thing I've actually kind of named myself the pivot queen,
Oh, love
because
it.
from that job,
Hmm.
from leaving that job where I'd been for about 7 years,
Hmm.
I have done a series of things.
Mm.
And what that experience did for me was it made me not afraid to change,
Ah,
you know, and it also opened my eyes to the fact that I have choices, because a lot
that's
of the time
big.
we suffer under the delusion
Hmm.
that things we have to do things a certain way,
Hmm.
especially with medicine.
Hmm.
They tell us, okay, you do this many years of medical school, you do this many years of residency, you do fellowship, you go into practice and you practice this way for however many years, and then you retire, right?
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
kind of the script.
Yes.
But I got forced off script, and I've stayed off script.
And you're enjoying it. Look at her. She
I
is a
am.
ball of adventure. You're not following the script. And you're now, also in a community of people who are not following the script. And one of our
Right.
lovely docs here wants to say hello. Hello, Dr. Tawana Gillard. If
Hi,
you
Dr.
have not
Tawana.
seen, we also have a wonderful interview that we did earlier that of Dr. Gillard talking about being off script and just really honing in on the fact that there's more out there. There's
Yes.
more out there. Alrighty. So, you're there, and then we're starting to say, wait a minute. As I look around, is it something that you notice that there are some other women doctors that are feeling the same way, that said, you know what,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
need to be able to help
yeah.
them, because
Well,
a lot of people are feeling that the script is the only way.
right, right. Well, or that the script doesn't fit them.
Mm,
So there's a script that's there, but it doesn't really fit me. Like it doesn't
mm,
fit my life. And so how do I live, right? I still want to
mhm.
have a life. And so then it's like you begin to live life unscripted, or you have to create your own script.
Scripts.
And that's kind of really where I am with Level Up. It's about
Mhm.
creating your own script, your own personal plan for your
Right,
life.
right.
Because no, every one of my colleagues years ago said, you know, I need you to understand that you cannot have it all.
Ooh.
You know, you
Mhm.
want to be a wife, you want to be a mother, you want to be a doctor, you cannot have it all.
Mm.
I, at this point, counter with, sure, I can have it all, but I have to define what my all is. And
Yeah.
what my all is going to be very different than what your all is, or Dr. Tawana, or
Mhm.
anybody else's all. You know,
Mhm.
we define, and and that takes some time and some introspection.
Absolutely. You know, how depressing is it to hear that you can't have it all? Not
Right,
that we're greedy or anything, but think about what the all was. It
right,
was your family, yourself, and your career.
right, right.
That was it.
Right.
You know,
That's pretty sobering. You're right. It's like, wow.
mm-hmm.
So so I mean, in a way, you almost feel like you screwed your life by going into medicine, right? Like,
Yes.
okay, so I made a choice to go into medicine, and so now I don't get to have these other things.
Right. And so my life is just bam, you know.
Right.
And when you think about it, a lot of people who go into medicine, when we start on this journey, we are usually, for a lot of people, it's their truly their first career,
Yeah.
you know. So to really work hard for that career and then be told, I'm so
Right.
glad you worked hard for this career
Yeah.
and you're helping others. But guess what? You're going to forever be helping others, but you will never be able to do and fulfill what it is that you want within your life. Thank you so
Exactly.
much. This life comes and it
Yeah.
goes, and that's it.
No. And and that just did not sit well with
Mm-hmm,
me. I have a foundational scripture that I use for my life,
mm-hmm,
and it's John 10:10. Jesus came that we may have life and have it to the full. And
oh,
so I really got to thinking, this is not me having life to the full,
mm-hmm,
ignoring the fact that, I have this baby that I waited forever to have, and I'm seeing her for 2 hours a day max,
mm-hmm,
or that I have a husband and I barely get to see him because
mm-hmm,
all of my time is going on the patients. And so, like
mm-hmm.
I said, I had the opportunity to pivot, and so I did. Um,
You know, it's we have some comments in the chat too, which really does speak to what we're talking about. Said a lot of us were pushed off script, and like, you know, we're saying this for those who are watching, those who are listening, and you know, we are talking about it from the medical standpoint, but it really can be translated to any career goal. You know, you
Absolutely.
have a script for that career. You're pushed off script, but the beauty is found within the path that's less traveled, you know, and helping others, like we said, Dr. Torrance said, helping others can come in many different ways, which is important when we're talking about helping others, because for those of you who your life and whatever your career path is really a way of helping others. Like for us, it's through medicine. Some people, it could be through law, it could be through engineering, it could be, you know, whatever career path it is. No matter what it is, like a lot of it, what you're doing is doing it for the good of the mankind, of humankind, you
Yes.
know. And when you're gone on that path and you've really put your all into it, and then you're feeling like there's no space for me in
Right.
this
Right.
script, you know. So what the Dr. Sherita is there saying is that no, there is space for you.
Right.
Yes,
Right. Right.
you know, go
Yeah.
ahead, tell them.
Yeah. I think,
That's what she's
we
saying,
a
is
lot of
leveling up.
times, right, we don't understand, number one, who we are, and number two, how much power we actually have.
Mhm.
And that's where I think there's the marriage of the psychology, with this, because
Exactly.
it really does begin in our brains, and we have to believe that we can do something different, that we can have something different, that we can live a different way.
Mhm.
Because, for me, I thought I had to practice full spectrum OBGYN, that quite frankly, that was going to be the only way I would be able to afford to pay my student loans, if
Mm.
nothing else.
Mhm.
That was going to be the only way I could pay the student loans.
Yes.
And life has shown me that that was just a false narrative. It was a false story that I was telling myself, that there are
Mm.
many other ways that I can gain income as a physician without having to sacrifice my family life, without having to
Mhm.
sacrifice my health,
Mhm.
because it's unhealthy to not sleep. It's
Yes.
unhealthy to be under all of that stress, all the time. Because OB is
Mhm.
an extremely stressful field.
You
You
guys
have
are one
you
of
have
the
two
most
lives
stressed.
in your hands. You got to make split-second decisions. High
Constantly.
stress, very high stress.
Constantly. Yes, absolutely. And I do want to give another shout out to someone in. Hello, thank you so much, Muraf Hussein. Enjoying every episode. We do enjoy having you watching our episode and leaving some wonderful comments. But OB definitely is a stressful field. And shout out to you guys. You're doing surgery. By the end of the day, you have two patients.
Right.
One that's growing and the other one that's there. The emotional toll, because once the woman is going through that, there are a lot of hormonal changes that occur. And then you have the familial, right? The extended family who are
Right.
always very excited about what's going on. If things are not happening the way that it should, it takes a toll on the external family also. So yeah, it absolutely is a very, very, very stressful field. One additional stress that is out there is when you think about the training and the amount that it costs financially to train to become a physician.
Yes.
And then you're now at the point when you're saying, well, I want to go off the beaten path. First of all, there aren't many examples of off the beaten path that are available for a physician.
Right.
And a lot of thing that keeps people there is how am I going to pay back this multiple six-figure debt? Because
Right.
it's not 100,000.
No.
I mean, for some people, it's an average of $400,000 in
Wow.
debt
Which is insane.
to train to become a doctor. So I've even heard someone saying that some people, by the time they finish their undergrad and the different training to become a physician, some people are almost over $500,000 in debt.
Wow. And
You
that's like,
know?
it's almost like indentured servitude, right? After a point. Because no, seriously, if you
Yeah.
think, if that's the only way that you can pay this money back, is to
Hmm.
work that way, those kind of hours.
Yes.
And there's no respect for your personhood, right?
No.
There's no respect for your time, there's no respect for your body, there's no
Hmm.
respect for your soul,
Ooh.
really.
Hmm.
Because there's no time, that there's no space for it. There's
Yes.
no space to feed the things that really matter to you and that make you you.
Wow. You've recognized this. And you yourself, like you said, now, Dr. Sherita is writing her own script. She tore up the regular, man. It's now in confetti. And you've
It
written
is.
your own script. And I love that you're doing that. But now you've created a space for other female docs to know that there are different goals that you want to achieve. Now, rest assured, for those who are listening and watching, the Level Up Lady Doc is for women who are physician women and other actually professional women who are out there who want to change their script, change your narrative. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're leaving your job, but there are additional goals that you have set. Now, tell us more about what you envision and what you have been producing for these women to just know that they can make confetti out of their script too
Yeah,
and
and
live this life to the fullest.
so what I realized as I was going through my journey, as I
Mhm.
mentioned before, is that I didn't understand the power that I had. And
Mm.
so I recognized that same handicap in a lot of my colleagues. I would
Mhm.
see these posts where people would say, I'm barely keeping up with my life. I'm
Mhm.
not giving 100% to my family. I'm not giving 100% to my job. I'm so exhausted. Tell me I'm not the only one. And
Yeah.
so that was huge for me, because it's very isolating, when
Mhm.
you feel like you're the only person who is going through a struggle. And
Yes.
it just helps. What they say, misery loves company.
Mm.
Not just misery. Everybody loves company, but it
Yes.
helps to normalize. It helps to
Absolutely.
normalize your experience, to know
Yeah.
that you are not the only one, that there isn't something wrong with you that you can't keep up.
Mhm.
Because we live in this social media age, for sure, where everybody shows you their best self all
Yes.
the time. And you are, again, have this kind of delusion that everybody else is doing well and you're not. And
And
like I
you're
said, it would
not.
always end with, tell me I'm not the only one. And
Mhm.
so I decided to create a community where
Mhm.
women would understand that they were not the only one, that there were
Mm.
lots of us out there who felt like doing things on this traditional path was not serving them
Yeah.
necessarily. And
Hmm.
so, what I am endeavoring to do is to help women to own their power, to
Hmm.
understand that you decide what your life is going to be. Not,
Hmm.
you don't have to stay stuck in this place where you happen to have landed, that you
Hmm.
can, make different decisions, different choices. And it's really about having a growth mindset,
Hmm.
and looking at the possibilities. So instead of saying, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z, it's more about saying, how can I do this?
Mm.
So if I were to do this, this, and this, then maybe, I could do some of these other things,
That you have
and,
set in your
yeah,
heart.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And the narrative that we have of ourselves, like we said, goes back to the whole you can't have it all. Why do you can't have your cake and eat it too? Think about it, all that we've been raised to hear and to think. And then even when you're in this position, a lot of people who you've worked so hard to get where you are, and then you feel like there's more out there for me. I am happy that I get to ABC to do this, but within myself, I feel like there's more that I can give to myself or to give to my community or to give to my family, but I don't know how to do that. I
yeah,
don't know how. And there are also a lot of people, and for us this discussion is related to our women who are feeling as if these decisions that I made have trapped me
yeah,
and there's nothing else that I can do. And especially if one feels like, well, I'm the sole breadwinner. I've seen these
yeah,
posts
yeah,
too. I've seen it. I even saw one yesterday. Like, I am not liking my profession right now. I'm very burnt out. That's another thing that's happening. And
right,
but I'm the sole breadwinner, and I've moved to this location in order to practice this particular type of medicine, and I can't. That's the mind. I can't leave. What should I do?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, the feeling
right,
of being trapped. And like you said, when that person posted that on social media, there are others. I think there were over like 354 people who commented on
right,
it. And 354 people are commented from all over the country and the world. Why? Because there are other
right,
354 people
right,
who
exactly. At least 354 people, could understand her struggle. And I would say at
exactly.
least 355 or 56, because you and I are on here. Well,
And Dr.
I wasn't on
Tawana,
the post. So
57.
right. So
Three.
right. There's so many people that this is their story. But
Mhm.
again, um, level up is about taking time to really ask yourself,
Mhm.
take time for yourself, because that was one thing that I found, is that I was so busy doing all the things that I had to do that there was
Mhm.
never any time for me to just sit with me
Mm.
and to really look inside myself and say, okay, if I were to have a different life, what would it look like?
Ooh.
To really sit there and say, how do I want to spend my days?
Mhm.
And I can remember, and this was some years ago now, sitting there and saying, okay, I'd like to get up without an alarm clock. Now remember, I'm an OBGYN. So so my days were very early. So
Yeah.
the even having the thought of I'd like to just wake up on my own seems like a really foreign concept. But
Wow.
I wake up on my own, I would say 9.5 times out of 10 now.
Mm.
So it's about defining what that looks like for you.
Right.
I want to be able to travel. I want to start my day slowly and then, transition into the work. I want to
Mhm.
do work that's more meaningful to me.
Mm.
Just what is it that you want? And
Right.
how can you, and again, this is not about anybody leaving medicine. It's
Mm-mm.
about making your life work for you.
Yeah,
And honestly,
creating it.
that is going to benefit everybody. It benefits you, benefits your family, benefits your patients or those
Mhm.
that you serve,
Yes.
because you're showing up as the best version of yourself, because you are honoring who you are and you are living in your authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest problems that we have is that we spend so much time doing things that are out of alignment with the things that really matter to us, our true priorities. And so it's so frustrating because
Mm-hmm.
you just want to do whatever it is. I just want to serve these women. I just want to write this book. I just want to write this music, whatever your passion is. You just want to do that. And there's all this other stuff
That's true.
that they keep trying to tell you have to do, right?
Yeah.
And so another facet of level up is about rejecting the status quo. you know
Mm.
who said that you had to do it this way? Who said that you couldn't do it another way? Who
Mm-hmm.
said that you can't make your life line up with the things that are important to you? Because at the
Absolutely.
end of the day, you only get the one life, right? You
Mm-hmm.
only get the chance to be young once. You only get the
Mm-hmm.
chance to live once. You want to make the most of it. You don't, the last thing you want to do is, be at the end of your life and have all these regrets,
Yes.
to feel sorry that you went into medicine or whatever the field was, feel sorry that you stayed in, whatever bad situation for however long, instead of owning your power and making the changes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have another comment here from Dr. Matthew Mazarak. He says, I think too many of us conform to the sacrifice mentality, which
Yep.
is a recipe for burnout. Absolutely, absolutely. It's the sacrifice my joy and what my identity is. And that identity might change over time because a lot
Yeah.
of time you probably lost it
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
process.
No,
You lost it.
absolutely.
Yeah, in this
Absolutely, because
process.
and it's not. I really think of it as being an evolution,
Mm,
that we are constantly evolving. And
mm-hmm,
so where I am today, I don't intend that to be where I am in 10 years.
mm-hmm,
I'm supposed to keep changing and growing and doing more things. We're not supposed to be static. And I think that's part of the confusion as well. Again, you get this job, you stay in this job, you retire. No, that's not that's not how we were designed.
right.
We were
Mhm.
designed to keep growing and moving and evolving.
Absolutely. And this creates a space, being part of, your Level Up Lady Doc creates a space for women to be able to evolve in a comfortable and a safe space, you know,
Right.
and in doing so, you'll get support from other women who are evolving. And the
Right.
thing about evolution is that you have different phases of it.
Yeah.
So and one hand helps the other, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
you have someone who has evolved to, like, let's just say stage 3 and you're at stage 1. Wow, how powerful it is to
Yes.
have someone there who can help you from one stage to the other.
Right. And there's a saying, you can't be what you can't see. And
Mm,
so when you see other people who have, gone off script, gone off road, and you see that they are doing well, that they're
yes.
thriving, that they can pay their student loans, that they,
Mhm,
can go on vacation, that they get to spend time with their children and their spouse and, their families, and just do things that matter to them. You see that and you realize that maybe that's possible for me. That's
mhm,
actually, I do a live weekly show, Level Up Live. And
mhm,
that's actually one of the reasons, or probably the main reason, that I do the Level Up Live, is because I want to showcase the accomplishments and the things that women physicians are doing, that, really remarkable things. And some of them are it's, again, still inside of traditional
mhm,
medicine, but
mhm.
they're rewriting the way that they do it. They're
Yeah,
innovating.
yes.
And, I think it's important for people to be able to see, because it just gets your mind working. If
Yeah.
you see someone else doing it, it gets you thinking, well, I wonder what I could do.
Mhm, mhm.
What could I
Absolutely.
change,
Yeah,
to
what can
change
I
my
change
to
within
change this
myself?
situation?
Yeah. We thank you. We also have another of our wonderful lady doc, Dr. Sharon Marable, who says, yes, I'm evolving and transforming.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Dr. Sharon.
Yes, we all are. We do go into this and, we have a mindset, like we said, A, B, C, D, E. Follow the script, from the MCATs all the way down,
Right.
and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for following the script. Life has ended, and I appreciate and all of that you have served and given to us. Next person fills that gap and follows that script.
Right. Yeah.
But
No.
life is
No. No
life
more. No more of
going
that.
off that
That
beaten
is
path.
done.
No more, no more. Alrighty. So, usually I'll ask about this at the end, about what you have coming up. But I think that this is a great time for us to really talk about our event that you have coming up in March so that people can really, really know what's going on and, know that you're not just talking about it, you're being about it.
Yeah.
So
So
tell them
we
about
are.
this event coming up and then we'll get to the other portion of our
Yes,
interview.
so I have a retreat coming up in March. It's
Mhm.
called A Weekend for Me.
Mhm.
And again, what it is about professional women having an opportunity to step away from their routine day to day
Mhm.
and actually, do the deep work inside to think
Mhm.
about what it is they really want. Like I said, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want your days to look like? Your
Mhm.
nights to look like? Your weeks, your months? How do you want your life to be structured?
Mhm.
And also, it will involve a time inventory. How are you spending your time versus how, what your priorities are? And
Mhm.
how can we work to better align your time with your priorities?
Mhm.
And we will also do goal setting there. So, again, once you can look and see where you're trying to go. See, a lot of times we don't take time to look at where we're trying to go. But once you can
No.
see, okay, this is the direction I want, this is my ideal, and this
Mhm.
is where I am. So now we have to create a bridge from
Absolutely.
where you are to where you want to be. And it,
Mhm.
it may be a 3-year plan, it may be a 3-month plan, who knows, right? But
Mhm.
but at least we have a roadmap to where we're trying to go.
Absolutely.
So we will do that kind of work. Everyone will leave with a personalized strategic plan
Mhm.
for where they're trying to go at that time.
Yes.
We will also have an accountability group afterward, a virtual accountability group to kind of help to keep us on task.
Right. Yes.
So, in addition to those things, we also have some wonderful speakers coming.
Oh.
We have Dr. Di, our Fit Boss Doc, who will be
Mhm.
coming and talking to us about all things fitness. She will have some workout routines for busy professional women that can be done, in a short amount of time, but
Mhm.
high impact. Also, again, talking about diet. We have Dr. Rashmi Shram, who is a wonderful, wonderful meditation, mindfulness, yoga teacher who's going to be coming and helping us with those things. We have Dr. Tawana Gilliard, who will be coming and talking to us about our financial health, financial wellness, financial freedom, because
Mhm.
that's a huge stress for a lot of
Absolutely.
people. Again, we talked about it before that we let money keep us from doing the things that we most want to do. So if
Mhm.
you're able to release a lot of that debt, it creates a freedom for you to do more of the things that feed your soul
Ab-
potentially.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You
So,
know,
so it's going to be held in Cambridge, Maryland,
yes.
at the wonderful Hyatt Chesapeake Resort. So I would love to have all of you there.
Yes, absolutely. And we said Dr. Sharon. I mispronounced your name, Dr. Sharon. I said Marable, but she said it's Marable like parable. So Dr. Sharon Parable, hey, do you heard about this wonderful event that Dr. Sherita has going on? If you know any lady docs, actually, we're opening it up
Yeah, it's
more
open
than
to
just
all
for the lady
professional
docs.
women.
It's
It
professional
was
women. Yeah.
initially, yeah, it was initially for women physicians. However, I was contacted by so many people who said, "Well, why is this just for doctors?
Mhm.
I'm not a doctor, but I would really like to do this." And as I looked at the program, there was really nothing in the program that was unique to physicians. So
Mhm.
at this point, it's open to all professional women. So
Mhm.
bring your girlfriends, your sisters, whomever.
Yes, absolutely. For a weekend for me. And I love that. A weekend for me. Now let's talk about it. How frequently does a professional woman get that weekend for
Yeah, almost
herself?
never.
And
Almost never, right?
almost never,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
and it's interesting because I've been people will ask me, "Well, can I bring my husband? Can I bring my children?" It's like, "No. It's a weekend
No,
for
this is the
me."
point of it.
The whole point is to leave them behind so that you can focus on you.
Yes. Yes, that is the whole point, to focus on you, a weekend for you. So we were there. I think Dr. Wanda wanted to let everyone know again the date of this wonderful event.
Yes, it's March 24th through 26th. The
Mhm.
website, if you're interested in getting more information, is www.aweekendforme.com.
Yes, and for those of you guys who are watching right now, Dr. Tawana has put the website in the comment for those of you guys on Facebook. Now, we're talking about a weekend for me, and I love the fact that you have put together a weekend that incorporates a couple different aspects of our lives that would help to push us forward. So you're already talking about goal setting, which we all know is important, but sometimes you just don't get the time for yourselves to put that goal on paper, much less. Now, if you get to write the goal down, like, okay, woo, you've done that part.
Yeah.
Now, writing out the steps to work
Right.
towards
Right.
that takes time, and you are definitely, majority of people are not getting that time away to really just set that quiet time to write that goal and to write the steps towards achieving those goals. So you have had that, put that together in this wonderful event. And then there's so many different aspects. So we know our busy minds, my mind is busy and it's just constantly going. And
Yes.
you have like Dr. Rashmi, who's a great and wonderful, she's a chakra trained coach, meditation, sleep, yoga.
Yes.
She can
Yes.
help you with
Absolutely.
all.
And then even, some of the
Mhm.
the guided meditations,
Yes,
will tie into some of the goal setting.
yes, yes. Because putting together a time to have a quiet time to restore yourself is also an important part of this whole process. And then we also have Lady Di, our fitness fit
Yes.
boss doc, who's out there will helping women. And one of the things too that I love that, well, you are also an OBGYN. Dr. Tawana Gilliard, who's also a part of this, is OBGYN. And on the Fitball Stock Lady Di, she gears a lot of her fitness to women, and then also some women who are going through that transition period, such as
Yes.
like the
Yes.
menopause,
Yeah,
because
she
so
is
many
also a
things
menopause coach. So
change.
she encompasses it all.
Because there's so much changes that occurs that is going against the goals that you might have for your fitness strategy, and she's
Right.
there to help you with that. And then, like we talked about, the money plays such a
Yes.
huge, huge
It is.
role
It is.
within you accomplishing. And that, Dr. Tawana, she's already excited. She said she can't ready for the deep work, and she's about to dive in deep into this holy offer. So
Yes.
for those women professionals who are out there who are listening, a weekend for me, yes, a weekendforme.com. That's the website to go and sign up for this wonderful event that's being held in tell us where it again. It's in Maryland.
Yes, it's in Cambridge, Maryland, March
Mhm.
24th through 26th at the Chesapeake Hyatt Resort.
Chesapeake Hyatt Resort. All right. So now that you've put all of that for everyone, I'm gonna bring it back to you, Dr. Sharita, because you
Okay.
know how I do. So,
Yes.
what is Dr. Sharita doing for her self-care?
Well, okay, so I've started doing twice monthly massages, and
Ooh.
that's pretty good. I would always wait. I have scoliosis,
Mm-hmm.
so I've always had a lot of back pain, and I would wait until I was in tremendous pain, and then I'd get a massage.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to thinking, it's like, well, again, who said that I had to wait until I was in a lot of pain? Maybe I could just do maintenance, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
get regular massages, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe it won't be so bad. And that's what I'm finding. So I do, every other week I have
Mm-hmm.
a scheduled massage. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing I do for my self-care. I also do a lot of reading.
Mm-hmm.
Just the personal development aspects of self-care.
Yes.
I am not as good as I'd like to be about the sleep, because
Mm-hmm.
I know that sleep is another, huge component of self-care. That's, a growth area for me.
Yes.
What else am I doing? I make time for my family and my
Mm-hmm.
friends. Spending time with family and friends, that definitely feeds my soul.
Ah, Powerful, powerful. And that's what I love about what you also mentioned. And a lot of us, me included, is the part of our self-care. We're doing this one to prevent burnout. For those who've been through burnout,
Yeah.
yeah. For those who are on the way, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
self-care is I believe is a great way in order to help to reduce all of that stress. In addition to other deep dive work, of course, because burnout is multifactorial. But I love the fact too that we're not setting to say that my self-care routine is set and I'm boom. No,
No.
we're evolving and we're
Right.
working on different parts of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you have to, again, it's almost like the plan that we talked about. I think, self-care plans are very individualized too.
Mm-hmm.
There are women who, or people, I shouldn't just say
Mm-hmm.
women, who don't like massages. I love massages. Give me
Mm-hmm.
a good spa day and,
And you're
I'm
good.
in heaven. Some people don't want to be touched. They don't like massages. So that would
Mm-hmm.
be stressful to them. That wouldn't
Yes,
be a self-care day.
yes,
So
that would
it
be a
really
stress
is
day.
about the things that that feed you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I love it. I love it. So now here is my fun question of the day. And everybody gets this question. And I'm snapping my fingers and dancing. I'm having a party by
Yeah, I
myself.
know what it is because
You know,
I'm a regular watcher of the
I
Tamara
love
Breakfast Show.
it. Alrighty, so let me see what I can pull off. I might have to pull some things off because I'm gonna start going through. Number one, if you weren't a doctor, a psychologist, if you weren't putting together wonderful retreats virtually and in person, what would you be?
See, you got me. Because
I,
see, what I would be if I weren't a doctor is an event planner, but that kind
ooh,
of is
what
so.
else?
Can I say that? That's
Let's
what I
hear it.
do.
Yes.
Yeah, because actually, when I talked about the in between times,
Mm-hmm,
in between medical school and um, undergraduate, I
mm-hmm.
actually worked for the government, and part of my job in working for the government was planning events. And so
Oh,
that's where I developed a love for event planning.
wow. So seeing it from the conceptual idea and
Right. I,
then
I, I like all of it, the details, and I especially like being able to spend someone else's money to do it. Um, but to plan the menus and pick the
mm.
venue and you know, write the programming and just all of those aspects of it.
So, for those of you guys who are listening, guys as such as our ladies, our professional women, you can understand that this event is going to be the bomb because you have a certified professional event planner who then went to medical school, who loves psychology and loves the mind and loves helping and growth mindset, who has put together a wonderfully thought out event for you so that you can have a weekend for yourself. Now
Yes.
you understand why.
Our goal, myself and the speakers, our goal for the weekend is for each person to leave transformed.
Mm,
We don't want you to go home the same way you came. We want you to go home transformed with your plan and like I said, an accountability group so that you can stay on task. Because I think that's where a lot of us, we're at the beginning of the year. A lot of
mhm,
people have their New Year's resolutions and,
mhm,
they set goals. But, studies show that 92% of people never achieve any of the goals that they set. They don't, even look at the resolutions. And,
mhm,
there's a number of reasons for that. One, we put them away and don't look at them. We don't
mhm.
even remember what they are.
Yeah.
Um, Two, we don't have a plan or we don't have a step-by-step process of how we're going to achieve those goals. And my daughter, I have a 10-year-old daughter,
Mhm,
and one of her groups did vision boards.
mhm.
And so she put on her vision board that she wants to be an actress. She wants to, like, I forget, I think she had a commercial. She wants to be in a commercial this year.
Mhm.
And so I've been meaning to sit down with her and say, okay, you want to be in a commercial. What are the steps that you need to take? Because it's not, it's just a dream, right? It's a
It's a dream.
wish. If
Yeah,
you just write it down and you don't have a way to get to it, it's like a pipe dream.
absolutely.
So you need to have something concrete that you can look at, and something that's tangible. I'm not saying that all of your goals have to be things that you can reach right now, but you have to at least have some kind of path
Yes.
to getting there.
And that's what everyone will be leaving with
Yes.
that
And like
weekend.
I said, and the group and the community that,
Yeah.
so you can see what other people are doing, and I think it'll be really gratifying to see everyone's progress,
Yes.
to know, okay, Dr. Beckford said that she wanted to um, open a restaurant this year,
Hmm.
and so she wrote her business plan and she, found locations and all of this. And wow, look at this, tomorrow's place is open,
Right.
you
Yes,
know, that's
absolutely.
encouraging.
Yes. And being a part of even Dr. Tawana just wrote like a community is key. Being a part of a community, there are so many strides that gets taken when you know that you're supported
Yeah.
and you have some people who understand the mind the mind drama, the struggle that you're going through, and are there to encourage you along the way.
Yes.
It's very powerful, and this sounds like something that you have been providing for your women in the level up, and also that you're going to be providing for them in this weekend for me, a weekend for me. Not for you, your
Right.
husband,
Yes.
your
No, not
significant
for the
other,
children, not for the
and
dog,
the
not for
dog
anybody
and the
but you.
kids and Fluffy and Pfeiffer and Poo Poo.
See you
Mm-mm.
when I get back.
See
Right.
you when I get back. And interestingly so, I know some women might sit and they might resist this, but I'll tell you this. I interview. I love interviewing people.
Yeah.
I don't know, just a little bit, like a ton. And I've also been on a couple of interviews, and I remember being on an interview with a lady who she has, I think, like five children, and she said she was at that point that she was just getting very frustrated, and there was an event that was there. It was an event that was an overnight, similar to what you have planned, and at first, she thought against it. I don't know if I want to be away from my kids, might not be fair to my significant, my husband, and so on and so forth. But she took that time. When it got close, she said, you know what, I need this, and I need this for myself. And she took the time, and she went to the event. She came back so restored and rejuvenated. Her kids are like, wow, mommy, wow. And then the next time they're like, mommy, when is your next event so that you can go
Right.
get
Right. So you can go and get recharged and come back.
recharged and come back? So think about how the you that you're having now, if you're frustrated, you're high stressed, you're snapping at your significant other, the people that you love are not getting the best of you. Sometimes you just need that weekend away
Right.
for
Right.
yourself to
Yeah.
restore
And
and
if
recharge.
you're not getting the best of you, because
Hmm.
again, you want to maximize this one life that you've been gifted.
Yes,
We're
absolutely.
not going to get it back, and you want to enjoy it, to like
Hmm.
truly enjoy it,
Hmm.
and not just, I had a guest on my live. I told her I was going to steal this line,
Hmm.
because I thought it was wonderful. And she
Yeah.
talked about how many of us are content to live in excellence.
Mm.
She's a physician,
Mhm.
so again, we live in excellence. She said, but very few of us strive to live in our zone of genius.
Mm.
So that's a level
Yeah,
above
above the
excellence.
excellence.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so yes, so we're physicians, we're professional women. We have good lives. There's nothing wrong with the life that you're living,
Mhm.
except in your soul there's more for you. There's
Mhm.
something else that's in store for you. You were created for something else.
Absolutely. And guess who has stopped by to say that she cannot wait to be there is the
Hey, Fit Boss
Fitness
Doc.
Doc, Lady Di, who will be doing, as we mentioned, she's going to be doing the fitness and going over some of the nutrition. Yes, and so much more. And then she says, yes, she's all about it too. The retreat, the
Yes.
relax, the rest, release, living fully. So for those of you guys who are just stopping by, we have Dr. Sherita Gaskins-Tillett. She has this wonderful event that's coming out in March. It's an in-person event. at the, tell us where, because I'm gonna screw up where it is. I don't want
the,
to turn up at the wrong
the
location.
Chesapeake Hyatt Resort in Cambridge, Maryland, March 24th through 26th.
Yes, so just go to aweekendforme.com, sign up. She has the wonderful, like I just showed you, the Fit Boss doc, that lady Di, and we have Dr. Wonderful Tawana Gilliard, the Dr. Rashmi Shram, the wonderful Dr. Rashmi Shram, and also the one, the only Dr. Sherita Gaskins-Tillett, who's there. She put together a wonderful program for you guys. So women, professional women out there, make sure you sign
Now,
up.
and don't wait because space is limited.
Yeah.
We're restricting it to no more than 25 participants
Mm-hmm.
because we want it to be an intimate setting where
Yes.
people, will feel comfortable talking
Mm-hmm.
about the things that are going on with them. We don't want it to be a big event.
Yes. So space is limited. It's an intimate event. So you know that you'll get a one-on-one personalized with these wonderful doctors who are all very talented in what they do. And you know what? Their talent, these are additional talents that they have.
Yes.
That's the part that's so wonderful. So trained in whatever particular specialty, gone through medicine, gone through residency, been working many, many years in their specialties, have been pivoting, done all of that, and has these wonderful talents to impart on you. So you know that you're going to be able to get some life lessons from everyone who
Yes.
has been, gone through it here and there, because life have taken a lot of us women on different paths. So to be able to sit there collectively in an intimate setting and be able to get all your goals and your dreams, a path for you to achieve that in a safe space, in a beautiful location,
Yes.
because we
On
have
the water.
somebody that was a
The water is
professional,
my happy place.
uh,
So
mm, 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 the professional event planner. So, I mean, how else? How else? Yes, like Dr. Di says, this is self care, ladies. All
yeah.
righty. So, I have been telling people where they can find this wonderful event, but people might be saying, where can I find Dr. Sherita?
Well,
I don't
I'm
know.
several places.
Mhm,
If you're a Lady Doc, Level Up Lady Doc Facebook group is a good
mhm,
place.
mhm,
YouTube channel where you can find all of the Level Up lives. That's
mhm.
where those are housed, and that's at Level Up Lady Doc 1957, I believe, is what they gave us. I don't know why 1957, but that's
1957.
I believe it's YouTube at Level Up Lady
Mhm,
Doc 1957. And then
mhm.
I'm also on LinkedIn, Dr. Sherita Gaskins Tillett, I believe, or Sherita Gaskins Tillett, MD, I believe.
Yeah.
One of those.
Just say,
Either
once you put
Dr. or
in
MD, but
Rita and
Sherita
the
Gaskins Tillett, that
GAS,
should get you there.
you'll be able to find her. You'll find her lovely face. And as I mentioned, for those of you guys who have been watching, thank you guys who you've been able to watch, either if you jumped in, popped in and out. Thank you so much. But I know some people are like, oh my God, I didn't get all of that. You know what? Don't worry, because as per usual, I got you. So just go to yourcaringdocs.com and select podcast, and then you'll be able to see Dr. Sharita's beautiful face. Just click listen here, and you'll be able to hear all of this wonderful podcast episode, right? And you'll be able to see the video too. Yes, we have that there too. Now, if you are a doctor out there and you said, I'm doing amazing things, I'm like, you are? Well, come on the show so we can tell everybody. So just go ahead and send me an email at drbeckford@yourcaringdocs.com. That's URCARINGDOCS.com to book. Do keep in mind, we are booked out a couple months in advance. I think right now we are booked up until May. Why? Because you guys are so fantastic. There are many amazing doctors out there who are doing amazing things inside and outside of clinical medicine. And you know what? I want to highlight you all. I want to highlight you all. So make sure that you just send me an email and we'll get you booked up for the show, or at least get you on that wait list. Now, special event. We are sitting here and we are talking a lot about pivoting and about more. And you know what? There is something else that we, as physicians, a couple of us, we recognize we are made for more. So we have a book that's coming out. That's right. So There's a special edition that's coming out next week, Tuesday, on January 17th. If you have not gone to my LinkedIn profile and looked at my page and see it's pinned, yes, I am an author, y'all. I'm an author. So we have a book launch that's coming up next week, Tuesday. It's 6:30 Central. So make sure that you tune in. You're gonna have we have 9 additional authors. I mean, there are a couple of us that are in the book, around 40 something of us that are on that book. So 9 of the authors are gonna be on live with me, and we're gonna have a launch party. Now, if you can't tell, it looks like I love parties, and the answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. So I would love to have you all at our launch party. That's going to be on January 17th. Right here, just click that link. You will see it popping up on your feed. You'll have it on your Facebook and LinkedIn, and also wherever you listen to us. So do not hesitate to join our launch party. That's going to be on January 17th at 6:30 Central right here. All righty, Dr. Tawana. Thank you so much. You have been up in the chat. Look at her. She's like, woo! She's just like, strong work.
Yes. Thanks,
Let's
Dr.
we all
Tawana.
need a cheerleader like that in our lives.
Yes,
We
we
love you,
do.
Dr. Tawana. Thank you so much. She said, party. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you know what? My lovely Lady Doc, who helped us to level up in this 1 hour. You've given us so many gems. Thank you for pouring into us, for giving us an idea to realize that, you know what, it is okay to pivot. It
Yes.
is okay to, you're not stuck. It's okay to rip up the script and confetti it.
Yeah. It's okay to want more.
It's okay to want more. Absolutely, absolutely. So, Dr. Sherita Gaskins-Tillett, thank you for spending this time with us here. Now, before you leave, you told us that it's okay to want more. Is there anything else? Last words for all of us.
Own your power. I mean, that
Mhm.
that's like the biggest thing. Understand that you are never stuck.
Mhm.
It's just you just have to open your mind, again, growth mindset, and figure out, how do I get to where I'm trying to go. It's still all within your reach.
Absolutely.
So good luck. If you want to do it in community, find me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oof. Own your power. So many of us forget about that, me included. So that's
Yeah.
wonderful last
Yeah.
words. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharita. Alrighty, thank you all for watching. Those of you guys been blowing up the chat. Thank you, Dr. Sharon Parable Marable. Who got it? Let me know if I got that right, Dr. Sharon. Thank you so much for everyone who's been up in the chat. And I will see you guys next week,
And
Tuesday. Don't
thank
forget.
you, Dr.
Yes.
Tamara. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Alrighty, guys. See you Tuesday. Bye for the party. Alrighty, have a good weekend.